Good morning, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Magazine, where we strive to educate and to help keep seniors safer in life by providing different businesses and different products and different information to help. So today we are live in studio this morning with Cynthia Wizensky. Am I right? Did
You
I get
are
it?
indeed. You are indeed. But
Cynthia,
everyone calls me Cynthia.
Cynthia, you are with OWLS, which is older, wiser, lifelong scholars.
Correct. I'm on the board, the planning board for that. Yes.
Okay, so let's start out by telling everybody first, um, what is OWLS? I mean, exactly. We got the title, but what do you guys do? What's going on there?
Absolutely a great question. 25 plus years ago, it's actually 26, but we're celebrating our 25th. We know we lost 2020. Uh, at Westminster Thurber, which is a living institution here in Columbus for those who are seniors, decided to put together a program at college level type courses in the month of October. They came up with the name, and it's been in existence for 25 years. Westminster Thurber is now part of the Ohio Living Network of homes and apartments and condos and that sort of thing for people that are mature.
Sure.
Our program has been in person and has been on premise, so it's been limited to people here in Columbus. And like many times, what can come out of a bad thing like COVID is opportunities to grow. And we're so excited this year that we are going to have a virtual program. We had to cancel last year, obviously, for health reasons. And this year we are we're slimming down our program. We're experimenting with going virtual with Zoom meetings. We do have one in-person session, which is on Monday, October 4th at the Park of Roses with one of our most popular presenters, Dave Powers. He's an Emmy award-winning musician. He's been playing in our area and around the world, really, for over 40 years. And he's doing two different programs that day.
Well,
One,
before we wait a minute, Cynthia, before we get into what's going to be happening with that, can we back up a little bit and just talk about where owls came from, where the name came from, how you guys actually, where it got started, who did this, where
we're a group of residents from
founder?
from that Westminster Thurber location who were still very vital,
Okay.
were wanting to stay active, keep their minds active, not just their physical health. So they put this together. So it really came from residents there. I am not a resident there. It's kind of interesting how I backed into it. We've got it expanded. My husband had passed away in 2008, and we listened to an oldies radio station. And one morning they had a contest, and I won. I won a class. Well, I had never heard of it before and ended up signing up for a Shakespearean class that I loved. And I've been taking classes ever since 2008, and then was approached about 2 years ago, would I like to be on the planning board for programs for the next few years, and got accepted. And that's how I'm there. Our planning board is made up of 3/4 of the people are from residents there at the facilities, and then hopefully 25% from the community.
Okay. And I mean, so I know I've been connected with it through Helen. So is she the person that everybody reaches out to when they want to be involved with it and stuff like that, as far as
To
uh
a certain extent, yes. Well, we're of course an unpaid board, but
right.
she is actually we contract with her to do what I call the heavy lifting, make the contacts for publicity, put together a lot of the programs, contact our speakers. In the past, that would mean sometimes bringing our speakers in from somewhere else, arranging their stays overnight, that kind of thing. So she's our overall paid coordinator and
And
does a great job.
she does do a good job with that. I know, like, I presented a couple years ago about computer stuff, and Helen was just really great as far as keeping in contact with me. So what kind of classes have you all had in the past that you remember as really standing out as being really awesome?
Well, I think they tried to provide a large spectrum of classes. We have cut it down this year a little bit because we're experimenting with the virtual side of it, but there's usually something related to government slash politics, something related to religion, something to health, usually something that's topical, what's happening in the world at that time, and usually something around the arts. And we've been able to kind of do that in, as I said, in a streamlined way this year.
Oh, so you mentioned politics. How does that go over? Does that get everybody's feathers ruffled for a little while? And
No, and I unfortunately I haven't actually participated in many of those. But for example, when we were planning this, certainly we know the environment of today. It seems like
yeah,
even things to me that are not political become political. So one of our classes is, and I'm going to say this to you, what's religion got to do with it? And it's put on with a panel looking at how has religion infiltrated so many topics today.
yeah. And you're exactly
In
right.
politics.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Every time, uh, somebody could say like, "Oh, the sun's out today," and that somehow becomes political. You know,
And I believe you'll see that panel, which is going to be on the 28th and 29th, will be addressing some of that.
yeah, it's really frustrating because, like you said, you just try to have a conversation about something really benign to people, and it just really becomes sometimes a heated argument, and it's a little bit frustrating because people aren't sure what they can say and not say anymore without ruffling feathers. So it's good that you guys are talking about those things and being able to communicate with each other about that and have that be brought up. So um, I really like your organization. I like what everybody does there as far as being able to take these classes. And they sound like they're just not ordinary everyday classes. Like you said, what's religion got to do with it? That's not something you would go find at Sinclair or somewhere here in Dayton.
No, and yet they're shortened. Normally, when we've had them in person, they've been over 2 days, 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next. We've modified them, knowing that not all of us are good at sitting still in front of a screen. So we have 2 hour sessions, 2 days in a row for these classes. So we've gotten a shortened version, which means the price has gone down. We're charging $10 a course, which is very reasonable. But as we were planning, we actually planned last year, unplanned last year. Now we're planned this year with the idea of the virtual aspect. What are people able to do? Matter of fact, we just had a free training session on Zoom last Thursday where people could, if they've signed up, could go in and learn the basics of Zoom, which we find many people don't understand, get frustrated, no matter what their age, but especially if you're at a stage in your life where you haven't had to use computers and a lot of applications as some of our younger members have. But it's interesting, one of the topics that we have has to do, and I'm looking at this, so I want to make sure I get the right title, lifting the burden of mental health illness. So we came up with this topic, and now when we're in the process of having that, which is the going to be on the 11th and 12th of October, here we are almost everywhere you go, whether it's a TV show, a radio show, something online, it's talking about the effects of the last year and a half on our mental health.
Oh,
So
I've
I find that our topics have turned out to be in some ways more relevant than less relevant.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right. There's been lots of um, unfortunately suicides and just people that are really down and out. And I mean, not only people that are being locked down, but also people that have had COVID and they're suffering long-term effects and they're tired all the time and they're frustrated, exhausted, hurting, whatever the case may be. That all affects us mentally too. So that's amazing that you guys are offering that course. And even if I would imagine that people think that they don't need it, definitely those are usually the ones who end up really benefiting from some of those
Well,
classes.
we all have issues at any one point in time. Now, some
Yeah.
are again, on a spectrum, can be very severe, but most of us have had down times in our life, and how we react to things like COVID can vary and bring out some of those aspects. So that should be interesting. So it is interesting to be on a planning board to anticipate what will be hot and what will not be hot. For example, on the lighter side, our musical program that I told you, the first part of it, we're calling it Happy Days Are Here Again. And the first program will be the music that was popular during the last pandemic, which would have been the turn of the last century.
Oh, wow.
And then the second part of it, to again celebrate 25 years of the OWLS program in Columbus, it's all about music that was popular 25 years ago. So we've got old and more contemporary, although still oldies. So that's going to be part of that.
Okay, so and I think you told me, so that starts here on October 4th.
October 4th, and that's in person. It is limited. We are doing the masking, everything. It's outdoors at the Park of Roses in the pavilion there. So that is our only in-person. But we're really excited because these other programs and experimenting with them has opened up the possibilities. Could we have OWLS in other times other than just October of every year?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Would this work for us? How will people react to this kind of virtual learning? And so it's giving us a time to experiment with that too. Because if it does work and we get the feedback that we want, we're looking at, could we expand OWLS to other times of the year other than every October?
Oh, that would be amazing. I think that would be really good for you guys. So I'm hoping that that ends up being something that you end up doing. So what exactly does a membership with OWLS mean? What does that look like?
Oh, it's like signing up for courses. If
Okay.
you go into OWLS, OWLS.coursestorm.com, you can pull up the courses, the descriptions of them. You can register online. There are ways also to mail into us, but I think since we're talking virtual, that's probably the easiest for most people. And you just can plug in your credit card with that option. And learn more about the classes that we have. There's no joining anything. There are some lifelong learning opportunities where you pay a X amount for a semester. This you pay by course. So you can take one course, you can take them all, and it's totally within your control.
So your OWLS is actually reaching out nationwide now with
Oh,
people to take
absolutely.
the
Well,
class.
we're obviously our current mailing list, people that have come before, all of that tends to be local because they were in person. But
Right.
no, I've certainly sent it to some of my old college friends from too many years ago, many years ago. And we're excited that we might be able to expose this to people, the things that we have to offer far beyond the limits of a Columbus, Ohio area. Yes, absolutely.
Nice. All
And I
right.
can mention some of our other classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
We have coming up on the 7th and 8th, uh, David Hanson, who is, I believe his correct title is director of the Shakespearean Theater in Cleveland. And so he is doing Shakespeare and the soul of wit. And it's about the humor of Shakespeare. I think we all need to laugh at this time.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact,
Absolutely.
one of our programs, which I suggested and we've had to postpone, is coming up hopefully our next time, but we realized we needed a live audience. And we've seen this on the late night TV shows. It's really hard when you don't have that audience feedback, but that one should be good. And one of our most popular presenters, Dr. Greg Farrow, retired from teaching, but his specialty is around the Supreme Court and issues like that, is going to have a segment on the 14th and 15th called The Wild Bunch, U.S. Supreme Court Justices. Again, a pretty timely subject when you think of the discussions that are going on now around our Supreme Court justice makeup. And is it too conservative? Have we been too liberal in the past? This will explore the history of different times and the Supreme Court justices who were put on the court and may have not always voted the way people thought they would.
Yeah, that's intense.
It is, but I can assure you the presenter is fantastic. I've seen him in person, and it'll be interesting to see how it works again with an online virtual option.
Nice. Okay, and then is that it or is there more?
No, those, I think we've kind of covered all the programs this year. I think that what is exciting is that we might be opening up to the larger community, even not even just the Columbus community, but broader and beyond the limits of Ohio. I think that we're excited that if this could work, it might be an option for us to expand OWLS to different times of the year. And it's exciting for me to continue to learn and to grow. Um, and I think that's the whole idea of it, is to stay active and to stay engaged,
I agree.
no matter what your age.
I agree. Always learning something new definitely keeps your brain working and like I said, keeps you active and involved with stuff. Um, there's we're talking about doing lockdowns again and closing businesses again. It's a scary thought, and just trying to find ways to keep people battling the isolation that occurs with that is really bad. So I wanted to share screen real fast and show people. I went to the owls.coursestorm.com. And so instead of providing like a list attached to this, I am actually going to provide the link for this, because when you go here, here are the different categories of these classes. And if you click on these categories, you can actually see the date, the time, what the class is, and you can go to, like I said, all the different ones and see what's going on. Then when you click on these, that's how you're going to sign up. You're going to go in here and you're going to click on register, and you'll be able to just kind of go through the steps of how many people, if it's you and your spouse or a friend of yours that you're registering for, you would add a person for that. Then that would change to $20, and then you'll just walk through the steps of being able to sign up. You'll say continue down here at the bottom, and then we sing the Jeopardy song. Do 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 do. I know that they had some trouble finding a new host for that, so I'm not sure what's going on with Jeopardy right now.
I'm
Uh,
ready for the job, I promise you.
so, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, why this is hung up a little bit, but no, I'm sure yours will work just fine. And go through there, and then you'll ask you probably for your name, your email, and stuff like that, and get your payment information from you. Um, so definitely go to, again, and I'll have the course in the description here. It's owls.coursestorm.com. It's up here in the URL up here. And we will make sure that everybody has that information so they can sign up. Um, what? Let me end.
I was going to say, because I'm going to leave you with a couple thoughts.
Okay, please.
Um, I've had people say, well, why are you doing this? One, I've been kind of into programming, whether it was in college or through my work. So it's something that I love to do. I don't play bridge and I don't do euchre. I love to continue to learn and to be involved and plan.
Yeah.
But I may have shared this with you before, Marianne. I had an experience when I was younger, because I won something nationally as a youth. And so the Reader's Digest was putting on a speakers bureau for the nation. I got to go there in this is the 1960s, to be trained to be used for PR for young people and so forth. And there was a speaker there, a Black man, which was unusual at that time, who was known for his stories in Reader's Digest on most fascinating people. And his speech grabbed me at that ripe age of whatever I was, 19 or 20. And it was that every one of us has 24 hours. And most of us use 8 of it to sleep and eat and do all those things, and another 8 to work or go to school. But the great people, or the interesting people, were the ones that figured out what to do with that other third of their day. And that so impressed me that I always wanted to volunteer or get involved or take courses when I'm a senior. But it bothered me for years that I thought, boy, with all that advice, whatever happened to him? And it was less than 5 years after that, I had the TV on, and there was the story of Roots by Alex Haley. And that was the man that was speaking that day, was Alex
Wow.
Haley. And so I say to people who might, especially I think some seniors who may say, oh, I don't know if I want to do a virtual class. All I can say is try it. I think you might just like it. And it's important to keep using the full 24 hours of our day for our own sake and for our neighbors.
You know, what's fascinating about that is, first of all, that you've held on to that story for so long and used it to benefit your life throughout all these years.
Propelled me, actually.
Yeah. The other thing is that you're right. People that are hesitant about taking a virtual class, um, you don't have to drive anywhere to get there. You don't have to feel like you have to get dressed up. You could be wearing a nice top and or a shirt, and your boxers or a pair of shorts, and nobody will ever know what you're wearing, right? Unless you get up and walk away and people see. So always learn how to, mute and stop video. But the nice part about it is that if you do have to get up and use the restroom or open the door to your Amazon packages being delivered, or get a glass of water, whatever the case may be, you can get up and go and not feel like, oh, I'm, walking out of the class, I'm disrupting this and that and whatever. It's just you stay and you learn and you sit in a comfortable chair and you don't have to be worried about being around, is the person next to me COVID positive? Am I going to carry this home to a sick spouse, somebody who's vulnerable to it or something like that? There's a billion reasons I could tell you for virtual learning being a very positive thing. And I know that some people do learn better in person. I totally get that. But for the sake of right now, of keeping people safe and doing this, what do you have to lose? Try one, see if you like it. Like I said, there's so many positive things. There's times when I take courses and I've been online in meetings and stuff like that all day long. And sometimes, you know what? It's okay to turn off your camera and just learn and not have to feel like, oh, I have to be prepped up and ready and focused and smiling all the time and stuff like that. If you get frustrated and you want to turn off your camera, then do it, because it's called Zoom fatigue and it's real. I can tell you that. And so if you just want to go into a class and turn off your camera and just sit there and listen and watch, then do that if that makes you feel better. Don't feel pressured to have people seeing you all the time, because Zoom fatigue is real and it can get very frustrating.
I think that's excellent. But I got it. And I did that yesterday. I was on something related to my church, and I would zoom out every so often because I usually have to put my glasses on to read the little print at the bottom. And I don't want somebody seeing my nose come up to the screen and all those kinds of things that happen for some of us. But I'm one of those people that try to go through my gratitudes every day, or try to anyway. And one thing that I'm grateful for because of COVID is I probably wouldn't have actively sought out Zoom and some of this technology as I have in the last year and a half. And I feel blessed that we have this, because just 10 years ago, if this same COVID thing had happened, I would have been that much more isolated from a family gathering at Christmas to my every other week prayer group to board meetings. And we've been able to continue living and connecting.
Well, imagine if it had happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever the case may be. We wouldn't have had so much information. We would have had to rely strictly on what's on being broadcast on TV. We wouldn't have been able to go dig and find other information, go to the CDC website or the WHO's website or any of that kind of stuff, right?
Correct.
We wouldn't have had that information. We wouldn't have been, the communication levels would have been much lower. We would have had to pick up the telephone and call people one at a time. And then also, if you think about it, with DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff like that, with that technology being in place as well, we used to only be able to order, if you wanted to order food, you could only order Chinese and pizza. Those were your two options, right?
We're lucky, yeah. Well, look
Yeah,
at Amazon or any of those where you could have things delivered, your groceries delivered. Yeah, just so many different options. So why not have information and classes delivered the same way?
exactly, exactly. But like I said, yeah, pizza and Chinese before. Now we can have groceries, we can have wine, we can have, any kind of food that you could possibly imagine. Stuff. So yeah, exactly. So being able to learn stuff and to benefit from that. My mom used to tell me when I was young, she goes, in 5 years from now, you will still be 5 years older. Just kind of like what you were saying earlier, right? In 5 years from now, you'll be 5 years older. You might as well learn something in that 5 years.
Absolutely. And even if you're not in love with our virtual classes, which there will be somebody I'm sure that says that, I think of it more as a toolkit. And that would just be one tool to meet up with people, gain new information, or just stay in touch with people. Is it going to ever take away from giving somebody a hug or seeing them in person? Probably not. But it's sure nice to know that that is in my toolkit for ways to communicate and to learn.
Oh, exactly. But you even mentioned earlier your, college friends from before or whatever. This opens so many doors of being able to touch base with college friends, work associates, past bosses, and stuff like that that maybe live on the other side of the country now or in a different area that we haven't seen in years. And now it's acceptable just to say, hey, let's hop on Zoom and meet up and touch base and catch up on all past war stories and stuff. So it's definitely a very positive thing. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay. I get phone calls and people will be like, you know what? I know we had a Zoom call scheduled today, but I'm just really zoomed out. Can we just talk on the phone? And sometimes that's okay too. So
Yes.
so
I
all right,
really don't like FaceTime on bad hair days.
exactly, exactly. So I hope everybody takes this opportunity to go to owls.coursestorm.com and sign up for some courses and to be able to enjoy being learning with Cynthia and Helen and everybody else and just really get your groove on and figure out what you want to learn and what works for you. So Cynthia, thank you so much for telling us about the courses that are coming up. I know this is a little bit short notice. We had um, done this a little bit prior, and the internet gods just kind of had different ideas for us. So I'm glad
Technology
that we could
gremlins took over. Sometimes it happens.
exactly. So I'm glad we could hop back on today, go live, and be able to share this information with as many people as possible in a short amount of time here.
Thank you very much. And I hope that many people will be joining us this year. Be well.
Thank you. I'll have all this information in the descriptions, whether this is here on Facebook or in our magazine. I'll have the link provided below. And as always, thank you for checking out thehipsenior.com. And we appreciate everybody that tries their hardest to keep seniors safe and educated. I'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.